Okay.
Okay.
Before we
Before
start
we start
anything,
anything, I would like to
apologize
apologize
once
once
more
more
for
for
this
this
quite
quite
of
of
a
a
small
small
step
step
to
to
progressing.
progressing.
Without further
Without
ado,
further ado,
my name is
my name
Imran
is Imran
Jeffrey. I
Jeffrey.
am the
I am the
leader
leader
for
for this
this
semester,
short
this
SEM
short SEM
CSI, also
CSI,
known
also
as
known as
Community
Community
Service
Service
Initiative,
Initiative,
in the
in
class
the
of
class of
Terence Raj,
Terence Raj,
who I
who
think he
I
is
think he
also. There's still an echo. Is everything okay? Can you guys hear me perfectly? Okay. I'm not sure there's an echo still, but I would like to. My name is Imran Jeffrey. I'm the leader of CSI for this short semester, and our lecturer, Mr. Terence Raj, who is also in this talk, is the one that has been showing us the ropes for to host this big talk we have here today, with none other than Kenny Lim, Executive Director of Befrienders Kuala Lumpur. And as you can see on this picture here, and also from all our posters that we have shared till this day, taking care of your mental health. So without further ado, let us start with the talk, Kenny.
Thank you, Imran. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Imran, for inviting the befrienders to share some information about mental health with your students. Yeah, right. So as Imran has mentioned earlier, I am from the Befrienders KL, and we will be using the chat box. I will be asking some questions, so I appreciate if you can maybe answer me on the chat box. Yeah, just to check with the attendees. Yeah, how many of you have actually heard of the Befrienders before Imran and the team introduced to you about the Befrienders? So you can just type it in the chat box. Heard of it before? Okay. Okay, first time, Jody. All right. Okay, quite a lot of you, yeah, is hearing us for the first time. Anyway, just a quick introduction, yeah. Befrienders, we are an NGO, and what we do is we provide emotional support to people who are in distress, people who are feeling depressed, or people who may be having suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and also basically to anyone who needs someone to talk to. As long as you feel like there's something that's troubling you and you need a listening ear, you can actually get in touch with us, right? Yeah. I will share with you our contact number at the end of the session, right? And if you want to know more about the Befrienders, you can always go to our website, befrienders.org.my, or follow us. We are on social media. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, and we are on Instagram as well, right? So today's topic is on mental health. Do you remember when was the MCO 1.0? It started in the mid of March, right? And we ran a poll in Twitter to ask our followers how has it affected their mental health, right? And from the poll, we can see here, yeah, sorry, we can see a high percentage of them actually answered the same or, sorry, it has affected them a little or very much, okay? Up to more than 65% of them have answered that their mental health is being affected, right? This is during the first MCO. Then 6 months after the implementation of MCO, during our MCO, we asked them another question. How's your mental health now compared to MCO period in April? Okay, and up to 36% of them responded and said that it has gotten worse. It has affected them even more, right? This is back in October. And again, during MCO2, we did another poll. I think we started this only yesterday and it's still ongoing. So if you're on Twitter, do go to our page and then answer this poll. We asked them, how's your mental health now compared to during the first MCO in March of last year? Okay, and we can see here that 43.8% of them have actually said yes, it has actually gotten worse for them. Okay, which is not a very good sign. Yeah, and I can also see from your survey done prior to the talk today. The first question is actually asking you, how are you coping with the MCO? And the majority of you actually answered you have been coping well, or at least okay during the MCO. So that's a good thing. So whatever we share today, hopefully it can actually enhance your mental health conditions. Okay. Now, what is mental health? What is your understanding of mental health? Right? You can type it in the chat box. What do you understand about mental health, or what is mental health to you? What is your definition of mental health? There's no right, there's no wrong. So whatever comes to your mind, you can share it with us, right? Inner peace of ourselves, okay. Social well-being, and also we're talking about stress level, very much related to mental health. Yeah, emotional well-being, well-being in terms of emotions, how we cope with the environment. Yeah, emotional, psychological, and also social well-being that affects how we think, we feel, and we act. Yeah, very good one, Venus. Right, almost there. Yeah? So basically, mental health consists of your cognitive, your emotional, and also your behavioral well-being. So what is cognitive? Yeah, cognitive is how we think, and then emotional, how we feel, and our behavioral is of course how we behave, right? So how is our mental health being affected by the whole pandemic, by COVID-19, by the MCO, right? In terms of cognitive, the way we think, yeah, sometimes it can be quite negative. For example, I feel so useless because I can't do anything right now to fight the pandemic, for example. Or if your income is affected, I feel so useless because I can't, earn enough to support the family. As a student, I can't study well now. I can't perform, right? I feel so stuck here because I can't go anywhere else. I'm afraid that I may fall sick. Yeah, very negative thinking there. Okay, thoughts of when will all this going to end? You know, since March last year is going to come to 1 year. Yeah, will I ever survive this whole pandemic? Yeah. Our emotions, there's this fear of what is going to happen after this, feeling anxious about the future, feeling so helpless right now because you want to do a lot of things, but you can't. You want to be able to study, to do your online learning, but you feel there's so much things that's happening that you can't actually perform, right? If you are being separated from your family members, maybe there's this feeling of loneliness, yeah? Or even if you're with a family, but the fact that you cannot go out and see your friends, to meet your friends, hang out with your friends, can be quite lonely to some people, right? Worrying about the future again, about what's happening right now. It may also affect your emotions, yeah, causing you to have severe mood swings. We again did some polls on Twitter, yeah, during MCO 1.0. We asked this question: throughout MCO and CMCO, what has been your most common feelings, right? And a majority of them have chosen fear, anxiety, and also hopelessness, right? And we also asked this question, have you ever had any suicidal thoughts during the MCO and CMCO period? A total of 800 over responded and said that all the time or sometimes they think about suicide, okay? Suicidal thoughts is something that can happen to many of us when we are in a crisis, when there's something that happened in our life, that affected us. But the most important thing is actually, what do we do with our suicidal thoughts? That means, is there any place that we can go to, or anyone that we can reach out to for help? Do we know where to go out and look for help, right? This is something that I'm going to touch on later, yeah. In terms of behavior, loss of concentration, motivation, and it will affect your performance. Also, in one of your survey question, right, it asks, has the MCO affected your daily routines? And I think 80% of y'all answered yes. Yeah. Another question is that, do you feel that the coronavirus has made online studying more stressful? And again, majority of you said that it has actually indeed made you feel more stressful, yeah, studying online. Okay, this is something that we will address as we go along. Yeah, loss of interest, things that you used to like to do before. It can also cause disconnection. Some of you may withdraw from your family members, from your loved ones, from your friends, or it may cause arguments and fights. This is one of the many different types of calls that we receive from people who, because of MCO, they need to stay at home and staying with their, family members, with their housemate, and because of prolonged time of spending the time together, yeah, in a place. And they have no chance of going out, it can cause a lot of disagreement and arguments. Okay, it can also affect your eating behavior, your sleeping patterns as well. In terms of your eating behavior, how do you think it affects you? Do you think the person will eat more or will eat less? You can let me know in the chat box. Both, okay, Nicole. So some may be eating more, some may be eating less. That's true, yeah. It depends on individual. Some people may feel that they lose appetite. Some actually can eat more, they binge when they are feeling stressful, for example. Okay, the same goes with sleeping patterns. Yeah, some of us may actually sleep more when we are in a crisis or when we are going through some difficulties in our lives, but some of us may find it difficult to sleep. So it is actually, whenever you see an extreme change in either your eating behavior or your sleeping patterns. Okay. Now, how do you manage your mental health during these difficult times? Yeah, this is also one of the many questions in your survey that asks what is one way that you relieve your stress? Yeah. So, and I've looked at your answers. Most of you have actually done something which is quite beneficial, yeah, to help you with your mental health. So here I would like to maybe share with you some of the things that we can do in terms of improving our mental health during this pandemic time, right? It's very important for us to be able to be aware of our emotions, our feelings. And it's okay to not feel okay during this period of time, because there's a lot of things that's happening, things that we have never experienced before. Hence, there will be a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, because we don't know what is going to happen even tomorrow, right? So it's okay to not feel okay, but the question is, what can we do to actually improve our well-being, our mental health? Okay. The three A's here are basically to be able to be aware of our own feelings. Yeah, a lot of times we are not aware of our own feelings. Sometimes when we are angry, for example, we don't even know we are feeling angry. So it's important for us to be able to know what kind of feelings that we are experiencing. So whenever we feel uncomfortable about our feelings, yeah, then it's good to stop and ask ourselves this question: what am I feeling right now? What feeling am I experiencing right now? Okay, ask yourself that question, and then try to acknowledge that feeling. If you are feeling angry, then you tell yourself that, hey, this is the feeling that I have right now, anger, right? And also, the last step is basically to be able to accept that anger. Because if you're not able to accept what you're feeling, right, if you are in a denial, if you're, brushing aside whatever feeling that you have, you will never be able to manage that feeling, right? Because let's say, for example, that anger, if you are able to accept that I am feeling angry right now, right? Then the next question you can ask yourself is, what do I want to do about this feeling, right? So it's important for us to be able to become aware of how we are feeling, and at the end of it, to be able to accept what kind of feeling that we are going through, right? It's important to stay connected. Nowadays, all of us, or at least most of us, have a handphone, for example, and then with the phone, you have WhatsApp, you have, you can also make a call to your friend, you can use voice call, you can use video call, or for example, just have a meeting and catch up with your friends. Okay, so make full use of the modern technology, right? In terms of your online learning, you have been doing this since March last year, yeah? So about what, 10, 11 months? So I think most of you would have an idea of how you need to do it, or what are the things that would help, right? But I'll just quickly share with you what you can do to enhance your experience, your online learning experience. Basically, it's important for us to have a boundary with, for example, the people at your house, people that you're staying with, your family members, for example. You need to tell them that certain hours I will have to do online learning, right? You need to ask for personal space, yeah. Dedicated space, for example, if you have an extra room in your house, you can actually use that extra room. But if you don't, yeah, if you need to study in your bedroom, for example, then it's advisable to maybe set a specific or dedicated corner just for studying. Yeah, do not actually study on your bed, because it confuses your mind. For example, when the time it comes for you to sleep, right, then you will start to think, your mind will start to ask you like, oh, is it time to sleep, or is it time to study, or is it time to work? So what is it? So if you can have a small space will do, yeah, but keep that space just for studying, right? Some ground rules with people at home, as I mentioned earlier, tell them that, my schedule is such, from 10 to 2 o'clock, I need to study, I need to go online, attend class, yeah. So tell them, warn them that, these are the times that you will not be available, right? To have a timetable that actually helps your time management. For example, what time to what time is for your class, and then what are the hours for your assignment, for your revision, for example, to help with your time management. Okay. To keep the interaction going on with your classmates, even though you are not physically with your classmates studying, right, you can always, like, schedule a video call with your friends to update each other about how you're doing, not only for your online learning, but also for anything that you want to share with them. Yeah, can be something which is personal as well. Yeah, this is to actually keep the interaction and also lessen the loneliness, the isolation, right? Then what you can also do is to have a morning and end day routine, something that you do to signify that it's the beginning of my online learning. Let's say, for example, you want to start at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, you switch on your laptop, and then my routine is I go and make a cup of coffee and then bring it and put it on my desk. And that signifies the start of my online learning. Okay, so you do that every morning. And that basically is an act that tells you that, hey, this is the beginning of my online learning. And then do something at the end of the day. For example, at the end of the day, I will go and wash up the cup, and that signifies the end of the day for my learning, online learning. Or you may want to just keep a journal and then write whatever that you have learned today during your online learning, and then close the book, and it signifies that this is the end of my online learning for today. So yeah, this is something that you can actually practice, and I believe that it can actually help with your online learning. Yeah. Digital detox. How many hours do you spend on your gadget per day right now? Especially when you are at home, you would have more time, right? Many of us actually spend much more time on our gadgets, right? And I'd like to share something with you here. It is from a study done on adults aged 18 to 30. Yeah, it says that young adults who spend more than 5 hours per day using social media were 2.8 times as likely to become depressed within 6 months compared to the participants who spend less time on social media. So please be careful with how much time we spend on social media. And when we go on social media, right, we are talking about going to your Instagram, your Twitter. Nowadays, the popular one is TikTok. So if we spend too much time on social media, the effect can be quite bad. Yeah. So if you can try to limit your time. And if you find it difficult to control yourself, right, because it can be very addictive when you start your social media, it's very, very difficult to put down your phone, right? So, for example, on your Instagram, yeah, there is actually a function that helps to remind you to put down the phone, yeah. So if you have your Instagram, you can open up your page and I will quickly show you how it can be done. Yeah. So you go to your page, the profile page, and you click on your icon there, your bottom right icon, that human figure. Okay. And then you click on these 3 lines here. This is like a burger, yeah, a thin burger. You click on the 3 lines, and then this thing will actually pop up. Yeah. The next one, you click on your activity, right? And when you click on your activity, you will be able to see your daily average, how many minutes or hours you have spent the last 1 week, okay? If you want to share with us how many minutes you spent the past 1 week, you can do so on the chat box, yeah? Right. So from here, then the next one, you can click on daily reminder to set a daily reminder, right? And when you click on setting daily reminder, right, here you can choose whether you want to set it to 1 hour or 30 minutes or 1.5 hours. It's up to you. Yeah. So when you set, let's say, for example, an hour. So in that 1 day, if you have spent up to an hour, there will be a pop-up message that tells you you have spent an hour on Instagram today. Would you like to take a break? Okay. So it's just a reminder. It wouldn't automatically lock you out of Instagram. Yeah. It's still up to you to decide whether you want to stop or not. Yeah. But it's a good reminder because, as I mentioned earlier, it can be quite addictive. It can be quite difficult to put down the phone once we start. Yeah. So this function is also available on other social media, for example, your Facebook, your YouTube as well. Yeah, all this it's available, and you can actually use it as a reminder. Yeah, helpful reminder. Right. The three basic things when it comes to self-care is your diet, exercise, and also rest or sleep. Okay. Of course, a balanced diet is very important. What is a balanced diet? Balanced diet is according to Ministry of Health, right? It's the suku separuh. Have you heard of that? The quarter and a half. Imran has not heard of that. Okay, so basically it's your plate, yeah, your plate when you have your lunch or your dinner, yeah. Half of your plate should be vegetables and fruits, okay. A quarter your rice. Asians, we need to have our rice, right? And the other quarter is your meat, your protein, right? So that's why it says half, quarter, and quarter. So if you can stick to that half, quarter. What else? Your light exercise. So if you can do spend some time doing some light exercises at home right now, you are also allowed to actually go out to have a walk or a jog right nowadays, even with MCO. Walking is basically the easiest thing to do if you find it difficult to spend time to do workout, right? You can also spend your time by just walking. Do you know how many steps we need per day as according to the World Health Organization? Any idea? How many steps do we need? 10,000 steps, that's true. Yeah, according to WHO, we are advised to have at least 10,000 steps per day. Is it easy to get 10,000 steps per day? Yeah, it's really difficult. It's very difficult. You really have to put in the effort to do it. But it is actually very, very healthy and beneficial to actually do it. Yeah, if you are not able to do some other exercise, right? Having adequate rest or sleep is also very important. I'd like to ask this question to everyone right now, yeah, and do answer me in the chat box. How many hours do you get? How many hours of sleep do you get on an average, yeah, on every night? How many hours roughly? 6 hours, 5 hours? Well, I'm impressed. 8 to 9 hours. Okay, 7 hours is good. 5 to 6, 6 to 7. Okay, so I can see 10 hours if I don't have class. So Tawang, if you have class, how many hours is that? Okay, 5 to 6.
Like 3 to 4 if I have class.
3 to 4 hours if you have class, all right, okay. Okay, let's look at this graph here, yeah. According to the sleepfoundation.org, yeah. People from your age group, your recommended hours of sleep per night is 7 to 9 hours. If you have about 6 hours, it may still be enough, but anything below 5 is not enough. Yeah, and anything above 11 is also too much. Yeah, so going back to that, to what Tawang shared. Yeah, during weekends, like for example, when I don't have class, I can sleep longer. But when I on a weekday when I need to go to classes, I can't afford to sleep that much. Yeah, so the question is, can you pay back your sleep during weekends? Like, you know, I sleep 4 hours during weekdays, and then weekends I will try to sleep for 10 hours to pay back. Do you think that works? It actually doesn't work, yeah. So research or studies have said that you cannot actually pay back your sleep. So if you can try to, you know, get at least 6 hours of sleep if you can, yeah. I wonder why is it so difficult to get that 6 hours of sleep? We have 24 hours a day. Right. So what happens when you don't get enough sleep? Okay, tell me from your experience, because most of you are getting what, 5-6 hours of sleep, right? So if you don't get enough sleep, what happens the next day? Tell me from your experience. Drowsy, dizzy, difficult to concentrate, hangry. Okay, yeah, hangry is the most dangerous emotions. Yeah, hungry plus angry, cranky, headache, fall asleep during class. Yeah, you feel very sleepy during class, and maybe you yawn. Okay, so what happens when you yawn? What happens to the people next to you? They will start yawning as well, and then it is infectious. Yeah, when you start to yawn, if you don't believe, you can actually go and search it up on YouTube. There is a video that shows how yawning can be infectious. They just go out to the public and someone starts to yawn, and what you can see from the video is that people around them start to yawn as well, so it can be infectious. Okay. Contagious, sorry, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, not infectious. Okay. So what are the things that you can do to improve your sleep? Do you have any tips? If you have any tips, you can share it with us on the chat box. What are the things that you can do to ensure you can get good sleep at night? No phones an hour beforehand. So you put away your phone an hour before you sleep. Can it be done? Because most of us actually sleep with the phone, yeah? Right. But that is one thing that we need to do, yeah? Lavender oil, sleeping with music, breathing exercises, yeah? Yeah, not only your sleeping, not only your handphone, yeah, but also applies to your gadget, basically laptop, even TV, yeah, because of the blue light, okay? Very good, Venus. Haven't been sleeping with devices for close to half a year. Very good. Eat a heavy meal, then sleep or doing mindfulness. Okay. Can you actually sleep after you have taken a very heavy meal, Imran? Okay.
Yes, it's quite possible.
Wow. Okay. Warm milks. Okay. Right. Any other tips? Okay, here are some of the things that you can consider doing. Yeah, your sleeping environment is very, very important. For example, your aircon, is it too cold? Is it too warm? Do you need the aircon, or do you need the fan? For example, your mattress, is it comfortable? Your pillow, all those. Yeah, your sleeping environment. Your food intake, some of us cannot sleep if we take caffeine or alcohol, of course, yeah. Caffeine, do you know what drinks have caffeine? All of us know that coffee has caffeine, but do you also know that your soft drink, your Coke, your Sprite has caffeine as well? Even some types of tea has caffeine, so you have to be careful, yeah. Some teas as well, right? Okay. Exercise actually help you to sleep better, yeah. But do not sleep too close to, do not exercise too close to your sleeping hours, because then when you exercise, your body secretes the happy hormones, yeah, for example, serotonin and all those. So if you exercise too close to your bedtime, it actually makes you feel more awake, yeah. So if you can exercise, in the evening, for example, yeah. To have a routine, for example, someone mentioned here that Natasha, yeah, I usually fall asleep listening to audiobooks. So you do that every night, so it becomes a routine. Or you have warm milk before you sleep. So every night you do that, and then your brain automatically knows that, hey, it's time to sleep. So have a routine, and also sleep to your schedule. Yeah, for example, I sleep every night at 11 o'clock. So you try your very best to stick to that hour, 11 something or 10 plus. Yeah, keep that schedule. To have a to-do list as well, for example. Have you ever experienced, switching off the light and you're already in bed and suddenly you remember, oh, there's something very important for me to do tomorrow that I mustn't forget, right? So it can happen to us, and then, you start to worry, will I forget when I wake up tomorrow? Yeah. So what you can do is every night before you sleep, write down the things that I need to do tomorrow. Then you won't get those issues anymore, right? So that is the to-do list. Blue light, yeah, so we're talking about the gadgets, your phone, your laptop, TV as well, yeah, emits blue light. And what blue light does is that it tells your brain that it is still daytime, it is not time to sleep yet. So then you will not fall asleep, or you find it difficult to sleep. So if you can, put away gadgets, yeah. Of course, nowadays with your handphone, there's this blue light or sleep mode, yeah, that you can install on your phone. But the best thing to do is basically to put it away. Half an hour at least. So what you can also do is you start slow, yeah. You start with, okay, maybe today I'll just put it away 15 minutes before bedtime, yeah. So maybe after 3 or 4 days, I will increase it to half an hour. And then after another 3 or 4 days, I will increase it to 1 hour before bedtime. I put away my gadgets. So do it slowly if you can, yeah. To keep a journal of things you are grateful for example, you can actually do it before you sleep. Write down 3 things that I'm grateful for today. It can be small little things. I have called up a friend and asked how he's doing, and I feel good about it. Yeah, so that's things that you're grateful for, either before you go to sleep, or the first thing you do when you wake up. You can write it down, and if you do it every day, for example, 3 things that I'm grateful for, after a month, you will have 90 things that you're grateful for. And it can be also helpful when for example, in times when you feel a little bit down, you can open your gratitude journal and then look at things that you're grateful for. It can actually help a little bit, yeah. What else? We believe that talking to someone when you are feeling down, when you are in a crisis, for example, when you're stressed, when you have fear, when you feeling sad, for example, yeah, talk to someone about it. It can be very, very helpful. Okay, look for someone that you're comfortable opening up to, yeah, and someone that you can trust, someone that you are comfortable, someone that will keep the secret or keep whatever that you tell them, yeah, who can keep confidential, yeah, for example. Okay. Also, if you feel like you are very much affected, that you cannot really perform your daily routine. For example, as a student, you feel like you cannot study anymore. Whatever you study is not going in, and you are very, very worried about other things. You can't perform. Yeah, it's important for us to reach out for help. Where to seek help? You can, as mentioned earlier, open up to someone that you can trust. If you have a very good relationship with your parents, you can open up to them. You can look for your lecturers because you do have a lot of lecturers. Yeah, and find someone that you can open up to, or go to your university counselors. Okay, I'd like to ask our 23 participants here today, do you know your university counselors? Do you know who they are? Do you know how to reach out to them? Okay, that is, I think, very important, yeah? So if you can, if you don't know about them, after this session, please go and Google, look up who are your university counselor, and then take down their contact details, okay? Because we'll never know when we need to, approach them. further professional help that you can reach out to, yeah, you can go to a counselor, you can reach out to a psychologist or even a psychiatrist, okay? So if you want to see a psychiatrist in a public hospital, yeah, what you can do is, or what you need to do is basically get a referral letter from a clinic kesihatan first. It can be a referral letter from a normal clinic as well. It depends, yeah. Go to clinic kesihatan or a normal clinic, a private clinic, and tell them what you're facing, what are the issues that you're going through, and then ask them to write you a referral letter so that you can bring the letter and set up an appointment to see a psychiatrist at a public hospital. Okay. Other than that, you can also go directly to a Pusat Mentari. Pusat Mentari is a mental health community center. This is a place where you do not need to make an appointment. You can just go direct. But during the pandemic now, right, MCO, I am not very sure whether you can still walk in straight. Yeah. So it's best to give them a call first. The contact numbers for the 4 Mentari centers in central region in Malaysia is listed there. If you need more information, you can go to our Twitter page. On our pinned thread there, yeah, we have actually listed down the things that you can do in order to seek professional help. So all the information is actually there on our Twitter page. Yeah. Other than that, if you feel like you're not ready to reach out for professional help yet, you can always open up to a helpline. Okay, there are actually quite a few helplines that's available nowadays, yeah, in Malaysia. One of them, of course, is the Befrienders. And Befrienders, there are 9 centers in Malaysia right now, so there are 9 phone numbers that you can call. But the only one which is 24 hours is offered by BeFriendersKL, right? I will share the details later on. So again, I want to stress that it's okay to not feel okay sometimes in our lives, okay? And when we're not okay, we need to do something about it. Okay? Either we practice self-care, even when we are feeling okay, we need to practice self-care, or we need to reach out to someone and seek help. Your feelings are valid, so if you are feeling sad, it's okay to feel sad. If you're feeling angry, it's okay to feel angry. At that time, yeah, you do not have to apologize. But ask yourself if you are comfortable with those kind of feelings. If you're not comfortable with feeling angry, so ask yourself, why is it so? Why are you not comfortable? And what can you do in the future to manage this kind of feelings in the future, right? So this is our contact number. It's 24 hours. Again, if you need more information, please go to our social media on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. If you are subscribed to any one of these 8 telcos, you can call us for free, right? You do not have to pay any fees, right? I will stop here for a while. If there's any questions, Imran, what do we want to do now?
Hello. Okay. So the plan is we plan to ask the questions towards the end. Do you still have more to talk about?
No, we can actually take questions.
Oh, okay. Sure. So like what Kenny said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to just text on the chat. However, I also have one question actually. So regarding of, I think you were talking about communication detox or something like that.
Communication what? Digital detox, is it?
Yes, digital detox. Yes.
Yeah.
So normally, in your point of view, how long is an average time that like for a person using their mobile phones or or laptops, especially during this MCO, where like online learning is a new norm for us already. How long is a bad average time for a person to use their electronics? Because we are all filled with like assignments and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
quite common to be on our laptops for a long time.
Yeah. Thanks, Imran. I think when you're on your assignment and things like that, you can't help it, right? Because you need to use your gadget. I think the concern here is maybe also on social media, like the time you spend on, for example, Instagram. Is it? I mean, the pros and the cons of using Instagram. Some of us may feel that it's a very good form of communication, of getting updates from your friends, knowing what's happening with your friends. And also it allows us to update our friends, our followers of what we are doing. But some people may find that it's so stressful because when I look at others, they are able to do nice stuff, they are able to have good meals, for example. Before MCO, of course, they are able to go to nice holidays. So it may actually make someone feel bad when they spend too much time looking at feed like that, right? So I think the question of how many hours do we spend online, yeah, we can also refer to the earlier studies that I shared. Yeah, I think it mentions something about more than 5 hours. Yeah, but I think it's up to individual. As long as we feel that it's starting to affect me, when I start to feel tired mentally when I'm scrolling Instagram, for example, then I think that's the time that we need to put down. And that's why the reminder is very important, because sometimes when we scroll, we are not aware of our feeling, right? We are not even aware that I'm feeling mentally exhausted, yeah, until many hours after that. So the reminder will actually be very helpful to just let us stop for a while and ask ourselves, hey, am I still feeling okay? Do I need to take a rest because I'm tired? Because imagine nowadays you don't only have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have what? Twitter, Instagram, right? How many social media do we have? So if you are talking about half an hour for one, if you have five, it's already 2.5 hours, right? And then WhatsApp is like 24 hours, right? You don't stop communicating. So the I think the thing here is that we need to be aware, constantly stop and ask yourself, do I need a break? How am I feeling right now? Okay. Yeah.
We got one question here as well. Just curious about it. Is it afraid to socialize with others that have a symptom of mental illness? Because it's been a time that we haven't communicated face to face. Any tips to overcome this anxiety?
Okay, it really depends, yeah, because mental illness is something that only a professional can diagnose. So even though we are feeling anxious, we may say that, oh, I am feeling so depressed right now, but we can't actually self-diagnose. We need to basically see a professional to get a proper diagnosis. So the advice here is, at any point of time you feel like you cannot function as per normal. You cannot go on with your normal day-to-day routine, right? Then that's the time when you need to consider reaching out to someone to talk about it first, get some advice whether I need to see a professional or not. That's what you need to do. And Also, it depends on personality. Some people are more of an introvert and they don't like to communicate with people, and they are okay with it. For them, they are comfortable with it. Then it's okay. But here, if you feel like it's something that you are afraid to do, then maybe you need to look into it, find out the cause, and then try to see how you can overcome it. I think it's good to basically talk to someone about it to get more input, yeah, on what is happening. um, Any tips to overcome anxiety? If you go on Google, yeah, there's a lot of tips. Some of them are like, for example, mindfulness. Mindfulness is basically the act of living in presence. Yeah, for example, you don't, because most of the time I think we worry about our past and we also worry about our future. We don't really live in the present a lot of times. Yeah. So mindfulness is basically you want to focus and concentrate on what is happening at this point of time, and try not to worry too much about the future. Deep breathing, for example, breathing in, breathing out. Grounding exercise is very helpful also. If you have the time, go and check out grounding exercise. Basically, like, you close your eyes and then you think about the five things that you enjoy. For example, listening. It uses your senses, your five senses. Think of the five things that you enjoy listening to, and then after that, four things that you enjoy smelling, for example, and then three things that you love touching, two things that you like looking at, and then one thing that you enjoy tasting, so that your five senses, it actually brings you back to the present. So that is the grounding exercise. So do check, Google it, and find out more, yeah, grounding exercise. Okay. To be able to be in touch with your emotions, I guess the thing is that we need to be aware of our emotions. Sometimes I think we are so used to be in denial of our feelings. Whenever, feelings that we are not comfortable with, we want to get out of it immediately. For example, when you're with your friends and you or one of you in front of in the group is feeling sad, the immediate reaction would be to tell this person that, hey, don't feel sad, let's go out and go for a movie and enjoy ourselves, let's go for a walk, and you want that person to feel good, and not linger in their sadness. Okay. That actually doesn't really help, because does the sadness go away just like that? Okay, it actually doesn't, because it will come back to them later on, right? So what is the best thing to do is basically stop and then ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling sad, and allow myself to feel sad, because that is your feeling. You cannot just brush it aside just like that. We need to basically accept and validate our feelings, however difficult it is, in order for us to be able to overcome it or to manage that feeling, right? Okay.
Okay. And I think we can accept maybe one last question. It says here, what is your professional advice towards a person when they're having an emotional breakdown where they might start self-harming or stuff like that? Do you think that particular person should seek professional consultancy?
Okay. Thank you. I think this is a very good question, Nicole. So let's just maybe focus on self-harm first. I think what we experience from our calls is that some of the younger callers are self-harming. Yeah? So there are actually some alternatives at the point of time. If you have friends who are doing this, yeah, what you can share with them is that whenever they have the urge to self-harm, yeah, they can try other alternatives, like for example, instead of cutting themselves, they can use a red marker and start to draw on their arms, yeah, or they can use rubber band and then flick the rubber band on your arms, or on your palms. That also can represent like you are, harming yourself, but it's less harmful. Yeah. Another thing that I have actually read online is that you can use ice. Yeah. You Whenever there's this strong urge, you, instead of cutting, go and hold or touch ice. Okay. for a while, because it gives you that kind of like sensation as well, like you are also, cutting, but it's not as harmful. These are some of the alternatives. Another thing is that, whenever you have the urge to cut, tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to wait for 5 minutes. I will not cut now, but I will wait for 5 minutes, and then you set the timer. So after 5 minutes, hopefully the urge has lessened. But if it's still there, then you tell yourself, okay, now I'm going to uh, wait for another 4 minutes and see how. So you try to delay the urge, and it does help that way, right? So look for alternatives. Another thing is that we also advise our colleagues that whenever they have that urge, reach out to someone. They can call the befrienders and talk, because it sort of like distract yourself for a while of the act. Yeah, it distract yourself from the act, but it doesn't really distract yourself from the issues, because when you call the befrienders, you are still able to talk about your concern, your issues. But instead of cutting, you are actually letting all the problems out by talking. Okay, so that helps as well. So it applies also to people who are having emotional breakdown. Yeah, they can call someone and talk about it, and that is actually quite helpful. I believe very helpful to basically look up at that point of time. Look for someone to talk. Yeah, and then after that, yeah, you may consider seeking professional help. If because self-harm is something that is very addictive, very, very difficult to stop. And it's not helpful if you tell the person that you should just stop cutting yourself, because it doesn't help. It can't just go away like that. Yeah, it can go away with professional help, or it takes a long time to actually stop it. Yeah. So yeah, the answer is basically reach out to someone first, and then if you can, go to a professional. Yeah, professional can be a counselor. Yeah, you can also reach out to the counselor at your university. Okay.
Okay. I have one thing I would like to add. So regarding of this MCO and stuff like that, will Befrienders KL ever do any future online or offline workshops in the near future, anything like that?
We have been doing public webinars for the public, of course, public webinar, right? Since I think July or August last year. We try to have it maybe at least once in 2 months. The next one will be, in fact, I think end of this month, we will be having one on self-care. But we have not set a date yet, but it should be end of this month. So for more information, again, just follow our Facebook or Twitter. We will normally announce it there. Yeah.
Okay. Hi. With that said, oh wait, so it's your last question. Um, okay. We have one more question, but I don't think we have the time for that actually. So I would like to apologize once again for everyone that came in earlier, and there was some technical difficulties. However, if any of you guys missed the earliest, or you have friends that couldn't make it today, we have on this chat there's a YouTube link that has already been recorded through our SOMAC YouTube page. So if you guys got any friends or any family members that want to learn about Befrienders KL, feel free to go through this link down here. And one more thing, we have a survey form for you guys to help fill out. It's a feedback for us, so please do help do the feedback form. Ah. So yeah, with that said, thank you so much, Kenny, for presenting and also for setting the Zoom link. So yes, with that said, I would like to announce once again, thank you guys so much for joining our this talk and learning so much about mental health, especially during this hard MCO. With hopefully one day we can all go back to our usual days lah. So yeah. Yeah, thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys maybe one day soon in future. Thank you.